Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fine Print. We're officially 5 episodes into the What If series, where we've been exploring what could have gone down in history through alternate perspectives. On today's episode, we're covering the life of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, the infamous American couple who were electrocuted for sending sensitive information to the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Julius Rosenberg was born on May 12, 1918, to a Jewish immigrant family from Russia in New York. He aspired to have a career in the fine arts throughout his childhood and teenage years and joined many leftist political student groups, such as the Young Communist League USA, during his time at the City College of New York. Ethel Greenglass was also born in New York City in 1915 to a poor Jewish family. She grew up joining many leftist movements as well, often pro communist, and took up a job at a shipping company after letting go her aspirations of becoming an actress. She met Julius Rosenberg in the Young Communist League, and they married in 1938. The couple then had two children, Michael and Robert. Julius Rosenberg joined the U.S. Army Signal Corps Engineering Labs in 1940 as an engineer inspector, until he was discharged 5 years later after the U.S. Army discovered his prior involvement with the Communist Party of USA. Because the location where Julius was working at was simultaneously conducting research projects on radar, missile, and communication technologies that could assist the US during the Cold War, Julius and his favorability for communism was seen as a threat. In 1942, 2 years into Julius's job as an engineer, it is said that he was first recruited to spy for the Interior Ministry of the Soviet Union by a former spymaster. Julius was introduced to this spymaster through Bernard Schuster, a high-ranking member of the Communist Party USA. On various occasions, Julius sent thousands of classified reports to the Soviet Union, recruited individuals into the spying service, and facilitated the transfer of information regarding the US's first operational jet fighter, the P-80 Shooting Star. Julius also sent over crucial information regarding the Manhattan Project, which was responsible for the creation of the atomic bomb, to the Soviet Union. All this continued until 1950. On June 18th, David Greenglass, Ethel's brother, was arrested by the FBI for espionage and later confessed to passing secret information to the Soviet Union. He further stated that Julius had also passed secrets on to the Soviets, which officially linked the Rosenbergs to the espionage case. On July 17th, Julius was arrested in suspicion of espionage, with no concrete evidence besides David Greenglass's verbal statement. When 20 government officials met to discuss the case, they stated that although the case against Ethel Greenglass was weak, if they could find a way to convict her, it might force Julius to spill vital information about, perhaps, a larger network of Soviet spies. On August 17th, the grand jury indicted Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, alleging 11 overt acts. The Rosenbergs were officially convicted of espionage on March 29, 1951, and were sentenced to death on April 5th of the same year. This was made possible by the Espionage Act of 1917, which stated that anyone convicted of transferring national defense information to a foreign government could be imprisoned for life or sentenced to death. In Western Europe, there were countless protests in favor of the Rosenbergs. Many left leaning figures, notably Albert Einstein, and even non communists like Harold Urey, pleaded to President Harry Truman to pardon the couple. On June 19, 1953, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg died by electrocution, becoming the only American civilians executed for espionage during the Cold War. But what would have happened if Julius and Ethel Rosenberg weren't caught? Would they have gone to disclose more information to the Soviets? Would they have eventually stopped, fearing arrest and the death penalty? Would their familial life have been different? The most likely outcome is that Julius Rosenberg would have continued his spying operations, sending crucial information back to the Soviets that could have helped them develop a lead in the space race. However, by the 1950s, which is when the couple was arrested, the Soviets had already accounted for much of their shortcomings against the United States. Thus, the value of sensitive information would have declined. Through the couple's espionage, the Soviets might have been very close to narrowing the gap between the number of missiles, rockets, weapons, and defense systems that they possessed in comparison to the United States. A more personal answer to this what if question would have to do with the couple's children, Michael and Robert. If Julius and Ethel were never caught, the two boys would have grown up one of two ways: either completely unaware of their parents' activities or being raised around communist style thought. Because of their parents' capture, though, Michael and Robert were forced into a life of orphanage until they were eventually adopted. The story of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg isn't just one of espionage, mystery, and an unfortunate end. It symbolizes the time period in America known as the Red Scare, when anti communist hysteria, anti left propaganda, and paranoia had completely overtaken the democratic America that was known for centuries. Suddenly, civil liberties were snatched, privacy was stolen, and the line between individual rights and national allegiance blurred. While some discredit Julius and Ethel for being disloyal to their nation, threatening the success of America, others credit them as martyrs who paid the ultimate price in a battle of political ideologies. Were they really traitors, or were they just simply pawns in a battle that was never someone's to win?